Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone's doing all right, wherever and whenever you tune in. So we are finally going to do the Cancer and Leo reading. I did not forget about you guys, and I am very sorry about the delay. But this is what we have, and we are ready to do your reading. All right, so it's going to be a general reading for both Cancer and Leo. I will, after the live, post some timestamps for people who just want to watch one or the other. I will do timestamps before and after the shuffling for Leo, but for Cancer, I've already pulled all of your cards just to save a little bit of time. All right. And what else? Yes, if you want to see a photo after the live of all the cards for each zodiac sign, all you have to do is click in the description box below, and I'll upload it to my Facebook, and you can catch it there if you want, just to see it more up close in detail or to see them all together at once. But I will be holding them up to the screen when we're doing the reading, of course, so you can see them. What else? So yes, since it's a general reading, it can cover anything like love, work, friends, family, health, work, etc., money. I think I said a couple of those twice. So yeah. And it is a timeless reading for both. So that means for some people it can resonate in a couple of months, or it can resonate during the original time frame when it's called for, or even in the past, right? So it will be different for everybody because it is a general reading, but we're going to be talking about a 4.5 to 5 week time period. We'll go back a little bit in the past since the reading's a little late, okay? So we're talking about from August 28th through September 28th. And yeah, I think that's everybody is welcome, right? So whether you are a sun sign Cancer rising, or ascending Cancer, or have your moon in Cancer, or even your Venus in Cancer, right? Or wherever you have Cancer in your chart, because we all have all 12 zodiac signs somewhere in our chart. So everybody is welcome, right? But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's do a quick little sound ball before we get started here, Cancer, and then we can dive in. So yeah, just be aware if you're sensitive to sound, it will be loud for just a few moments and then it'll be done. All right, so here we go, Cancer. Let's get started here, Cancer. Yeah, let's put this over here. All right. So welcome to everybody, whether you've been here before or you're new, right? Appreciate everybody, everybody's energy. All right, so let's talk about the placements of the cards real quickly before we talk about each individual card. I'm turning a little music, ambient music in the background so my dogs don't go crazy. Okay, so we're talking about, right, that 4.5 to 5 week time period. So the first 4 cards on the top here, each one can correspond to about a week or so's time period, but nothing is exact, right? It can be a little bit before, a little bit after. And then we're using 2 different tarot decks. Oh my gosh. So we will talk about what's in the top and the bottom of each deck too, to get even more insight. And at the very end, we have a little oracle card here for you. All right. So yeah, let's see what we have here for you, Cancer. So right off the bat, before we call out your cards, I do want to mention the other zodiac signs that I see present in your reading here for some people who are into that, right? So it could be you're dealing with one of those signs, sun signs, right? Or you have a lot of that predominantly some of those signs in your chart or the other person's chart, or it could also reference a time period, right? So if we see a certain zodiac sign, it could be the one coming up or the one from last year or what have you. Or it doesn't have to mean anything at all, but we're just going to mention it as far as the major arcanas. All right, so Cancer, we've got some Libra energy here. We've got some Scorpio energy. All right, so, and wait, yes, I'm sorry, there's three, three major arcanas. All right, so we got Libra, Scorpio, and Leo. I was starting to say Libra again because I was like, la la la, the L threw me off there. But no, so you could be dealing with the Libra, you could be dealing with the Scorpio, you could be dealing with the Leo, or again, you have a lot of that predominantly in your chart, or the other person does if you're only dealing with one person, right? Or it could be referencing Leo season, Scorpio season, Libra season, what have you. Or it just doesn't even apply. And that's okay too, you just don't apply it, right? Okay, so with that being said, though, let's go ahead and call out your cards here, Cancer. So you got the Three of Cups in the right side up position. You got the Princess of Cups in the reverse position. You have the Justice card in the right side up position. You have the Seven of Cups in the right side up position. And then we'll talk about the other ones when we get there, right? And let's now break down kind of, and I'll talk about it again when I'm on each of these four cards up here in the top, the time frames that it could represent. So we're going to go back in time a little bit, right? So the first card could be from around August 27th through September 3rd. The second card could be from around September 4th through September 13th, right where we're at now on the 10th when I'm filming this. The third card could be from around September 14th through the 22nd. And the fourth card could be from around September 23rd through September 28th or so. Again, it could be a little bit before, a little bit after. All right. So when we talk about your first card in particular here, Cancer, and if you guys seen me before, you know, right? But this is energy, or it could be energy from the recent past, whatever that means for you, right? So it could be a couple of days ago, months, years, weeks, etc. But it doesn't necessarily have to be. But when we're talking about it, just the way we just mentioned the dates, this is again, could be from around August 27th through September 3rd. So when we talk about this Three of Cups energy, this can be a celebratory energy here, a very supportive energy. It can talk about teamwork, right? So here we see the king, and then the young will be eventually queen, and the prince over here, and they all have their cups, and they're going to cheers their cups together in celebration, in support. And when we talk about celebration or support, it can also be talking about more emotionally satisfying celebrations or support, because we're talking about cups and we're talking about the emotions here, okay? And of course, when we talk about cups, we are talking about water signs, right? But we kind of already mentioned that you have some Scorpio energy down here, but of course it could also be Cancer or Pisces, right? So just apply it how it works for you, right? But this is a nice energy. It's an abundant energy. And it could, if it's not necessarily directly about you here, Cancer, and this applies to the whole reading, it could be about the other person or multiple people, general environment situation. So as we go through the reading, if you're like, that doesn't really sound like what I'm going through or what I have been going through, that's okay too, right? Check out your other placements. So if you have done your birth chart before and right? So then you can check out your rising sign or ascendant sign, your moon sign, and vice versa, sun sign. Excuse me. So that can change throughout your life. Sometimes you'll resonate more or less with one or the other, or it's just cool because then you get to see all the different aspects of yourself as far as the sun signs coming together. All right, so let's talk about here real quickly before we move to your second card, kind of the sponsor cards, what made it possible for this Three of Cups to show up in the right side up position as your first card. Okay, so these two on the bottom are from the other tarot deck, right? And so it represents past energy. Okay, so even further back or recent past, whatever it is for you. All right, so here we have that Leo energy with the Strength card in the right side up position on the top of your deck. And then we have the Princess of Swords, right? Princess, yes, of Swords in the right side up position on the bottom of your deck. And we're talking about it in relation to that Three of Cups here, okay? So it looks like here in the past in some way, Cancer, There was a lot of passion, creativity with the strength card here. Of course, we're talking about physical strength, right? So the woman, usually it's a lion, but she's tamed the boar, the wild boar in this deck, right? And so it's also about the spiritual or emotional strength as well, of course, because we're talking about tarot and spirituality in some aspects, right? And so, this kind of is a very nice energy from the past, okay? Whether, again, it's referencing a time frame or a person or just the general qualities of the card, right? It is for momentum and abundance. And then partnered with that Princess of Swords, there's really nice mental clarity aspect to the past, right? And being open to learning. So it goes this way, being open to learning new things, right? And building something, wanting to eventually elevate in some area of your life here or the area of the other person's life, general environment situation, okay? But definitely these two cards kind of made it possible for, again, that Three of Cups in the right side up position to come out here as your first card, Cancer. And so that's beautiful, right? But let's keep going. I don't want to spend too much time there. But yeah, so when we talk about, real quickly, one more thing. When we talk about swords, we're talking about air signs. So in the past, you could have also been dealing with or a time frame, right, or nothing at all. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, right? We did say you have Libra over here too, but I just wanted to mention it, okay? All right, now moving forward, we get into your second card, the second week, kind of where we're at now for some, right? So around September 4th through September 13th, we do have the Princess of Cups in the reverse position. And because, if you may be already aware, right, we've officially started the Mercury retrograde as of yesterday. So I was seeing in some of the other zodiac readings that could be an energetic blockage or a slight gentle reminder or a challenge in this week, in this aspect in some way. But it doesn't necessarily have to be, of course, because of Mercury retrograde, but it does make things, a little bit trickier as far as communication, right? Electronics, all that stuff. But the retrogrades aren't bad, right? There can be, yes, there's bad stuff or bad feelings that come up during this time, like any, but it's also really about the redos, right? So rework, release, revise, all that stuff when you're talking about retrogrades. Because currently, right now, we have not just Mercury in retrograde, we have 5 planets total in retrograde. So it really is about when the planet's retrograde, it's going backwards. So it's telling us to slow down in more or less a lot of different ways, especially because we are now heading closer to the end of 2022, right? Even regardless of where you are in the world, even if it's not fall or winter yet, it's really just about, having the year coming to a close coming up, right? So some people tend to kind of lead into that and say, well, what have I learned? What have I accomplished? What have I done? What can I still do? And then, like, what are my goals for next year? All that, kind of stuff. So anyway, back to the general meaning of this card, right? For you, Cancer, with this Princess of Cups in the reverse position, right? It could be with this energetic blockage during this time period or gentle reminder challenge, right? That there is an energy of somebody possibly not wanting to level up in some area of their life, or they're not open to learning something new, or they're also could be this energy of resisting doing something non-traditional, right? Because normally when the card is right side up, the Morgana figure here, who is, sorry, let me turn that down, of herbal magic and witchcraft. She does her work at night. She's picking her herbs at night. We see Pisces energy and the moon in the background, right? When it's right side up. So when it's in reverse, it could be this resistance to the other things I just mentioned, but also doing something non-traditional or in general, right, when we talk about cups, because your first card was a cups card, that there's something emotionally unsatisfying or emotionally unfulfilling in some way, or emotionally confusing and not landing the way it should, right? Again, during the retrogrades, especially Mercury, right? So yeah, I just see it as like a little bit of this energetic blockage, and doesn't last forever because you still have some really good cards here, Cancer, And a lot of other signs were having that, in particular during that second week, the week we're in now. Okay. So yeah, will be different for everybody as far as when I listed one of those things that it may be about. Okay. But yeah, let's keep going forward and see what else here comes out for you, Cancer. So now we're on your third card, third week, right? So a week or so, right? It could be from around September 14th through September 22nd, but we have the Justice card and the right side up position. So we got the Libra energy that we were mentioning before here. All right. And so when the Justice card comes up, of course, we're talking about good and bad, right? Black and white in the background on the card, right? The dark pillar, the light pillar. Okay, so opposites, extremes. It's not the Judgment card, but it's the Justice card, and they're kind of related in certain ways as far as when you talk about the legal system, that kind of thing. Okay, but when this Justice card shows up here for you, Cancer, I really feel that, especially following, because remember it followed the Princess of Cups in reverse, okay, that there is something, possibly like a little bit of a heavier energy, but it's not too bad. It's more like, how can the other person, multiple people, general environment, situation, take this justice, this wanting to strive for truth, right? So when we talk about Libra, we talk about the Justice card ruled by Venus, right? She's actually holding the sword, right? The Lady of Justice, Lady of Truth, okay? And so it's just kind of sitting on her lap here, if you can see it. So it's not necessarily like how you would envision it traditionally being held up, okay? Because her eyes are covered, right? So she's trying to use all of her other senses before she makes a final decision, right? But there's also at the bottom of this deck the Ten Commandments kind of tablets reference, and then there's the snake going up around her legs. So it's like, how can I have this evolution? With this justice that's been made, or that wants to be made, right? How can I find balance when we talk about Libra energy? Again, having more of that separation between light and dark, right and wrong, even though there's definitely gray areas. The Justice card doesn't necessarily talk about the gray areas because it just wants these like firm separations between the two. But that's when you see that snake coming in and saying, wait a minute, what about the gray areas as well? Okay. So if you're not necessarily dealing with the legal system here, it could be that you're waiting for something to be brought to justice. You're right. You're waiting for yourself to have some type of truth or justice being brought out to light. Okay. But there's definitely an energy of somebody seeking some type of truth here. So let's get a little more insight into this card, maybe why it showed up, right? Because this is where Spirit wants me to talk to you about what's on the top and the bottom of your other deck, along with that Justice card. So the top and the bottom, again, is past energy, okay? And so what we have here is on the top of your deck, and again, this past energy, we have the Two of Staves, or the Two of Wands, as it's known in this deck, right? Or the Two of Staves in this deck, but also known as Two of Wands, which is on the top. And on the bottom, we have that Tower card in the right side up position, right? Scorpio energy there. And so it looks like here in the past, Cancer, that somebody, whether it's you yourself, again, or someone else you're dealing with, general environment situation, was really going inward, almost like the hermit, right? Not having a fast go, go, go energy to try to figure out what their next decision is going to be. They're doing, or they were doing, or you were doing some type of people watching, right? Working through the emotions represented the Nile River behind this Egyptian woman looking out at the Nile River. And so she's like, okay, how can I learn from others? How can I do people watching in my own research before moving forward? It's also healing energy, right? In certain regards, okay? So you had that going on in the past here, Cancer, and then all of a sudden the Tower comes. People always get freaked out, or not always everybody, but people can get freaked out with the Tower card. It doesn't always have to be something bad, but it does represent in the past here, Cancer, there was some kind of startling or shocking change, right? with the tower crashing down. And so the lightning is hitting the top of the tower. That's the crown chakra, right? So it can be about spiritual downloads, enlightenments, revelations, right? Wanting to suddenly come through to someone or some energy or environment, right? To make everything be torn down and then rebuilt back up from the foundation, okay? And so if you look at it, it's like this past tower card definitely, would make sense that it's supporting or made possible for the justice card to come through. Because remember how I said with the justice card, someone is looking for truth, somebody, someone, multiple people, or an energy or the environment, okay? Because there was some kind of, again, shocking or surprising. It could be a good truth, a bad truth, a good change, a bad change in that past energy with the tower. It doesn't always tell us, of course, because it's a general reading too, whether it was a good change or a bad change, but it was something that was going to happen eventually, right? And so when you see the tower card, it's always like, do you want to lead into it or do you want to resist it? Because if you resist, it's going to be harder. Okay. So I don't know. We'll see, how the rest of the reading plays out here. I don't know if you were resisting it or it was the other person or both of you or just the general environment situation. But like I said, these changes do happen to all of us throughout our lives. And if that is the one thing that's constant that you can rely on, right? That things are going to change. Even if it's small changes. So anyway, let's keep going forward and see kind of what else is coming out here for you, Cancer. All right, so now we come to your fourth card over here. We're talking about the fourth, so 4.5 to 5 week time period, whatever it is, right? So at the end of September, so from around September 23rd, it could be through September 28th, we're saying, right? And you have the 7 of Cups in the right side up position. So you go from the Justice card to the 7 of Cups, right? So if there was, for some of you guys, or is going to be, something brought to justice, something being brought to light, something seeking balance in some way, okay? Or some kind of division of what is right and wrong with the Justice card, then when you have the 7 of Cups, it's like a dark night of the soul energy for some, right? It's like window shopping for options, because here we see the king is talking to Morgana and he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what my next decision is going to be. I don't know which cup to take, because in each of these little cups, if you can see, I know it's kind of far away, there's a different object. There's a different outcome, right? So he hasn't made his decision yet. And so it's kind of like a limbo time period, right? So it could be after, when you're coming out of this justice energy to then the 7 of Cups, it could definitely make sense why the energy isn't necessarily like, let's go, 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 right? Again, all the retrogrades going on. Let me slowly make my decision and weigh all the different options and pros and cons and what have you. But, I just would say, Cancer, don't stay there too long, right? Because then it becomes the dark night of the soul energy, which isn't a bad thing, right? We all have to do our shadow work, okay, right? We all have to embrace those things and deal with the dark stuff so we can appreciate the light and the good stuff when it does happen. Just like I said, just don't stay there too long, okay? And Cancer, you being a water sign, depending on where Cancer is in your chart and who's watching and what, right? There's 7 of Cups. We're talking about water sign energy again. So, okay, right? It could be you, Cancer. It could be Pisces. It could be Scorpio. Remember, we said we had a little Scorpio in your reading already. So the cups in the tarot, since they talk about our emotions, and the people who've seen me before, they know, right? It's like, what makes me emotionally fulfilled and happy and satisfied? What fills my cup, right? What doesn't fill my cup? Okay, all those questions come when we talk about the cups card. So you could be really questioning stuff the other person, multiple people, general environment, situation. But yeah, that's kind of what we have, right? And so when this happens, if it does happen this way for you, right? With that Seven of Cups energy here, Cancer, and we're talking about again towards the end of the month, September 23rd through the 28th or so. That's towards the end of Mercury retrograde. Okay. So the retrograde officially stops on October 1st. Okay. But we do have the shadow period after. So when it stops, the Mercury retrograde, then the planet has to slowly start going in the right direction. So there can be like a week or two where stuff is still a little bit harder to deal with or understand or decipher. But I feel, hopefully that, after that, things will kind of start to pick up and make more sense. Okay. But let's keep going. We still have one more tarot card for you here, and then also your little oracle card, and then we'll switch over to Leo and just after that. Okay. So Cancer, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. When we get to your fifth tarot card here, the bigger one down at the end, okay, this is your tarot confirmation card that's going to come in and confirm all four cards on the top that we just talked about. So it is a combination of past energy, but also future current energies possibilities, right? Okay. So it's the Prince of Cups in reverse. All right. So it's saying this is I would say is definitely a gentle reminder or challenge. Okay. Because you want that Prince of Cups to be right side up. You don't necessarily want him reversed. Okay. So, gosh, you have lots of cups in your reading here. Let's count actually for a second. Let's take a moment. I forgot to do that in the beginning when I talk about the zodiac signs in your reading. I usually try to count how many of the minor arcana are in your reading as well. So, got 1, 2, 3, 4 cups cards. So it's probably cups, but we'll double check. You got 1 sword, 1 wand, and 3 majors. Okay, so it's cups. So what does that mean, right? It's our emotions. So again, like what fills our cup? Are we in touch with our emotions too much or not enough? Right? What makes me emotionally happy, satisfied, fulfilled? What are my emotional boundaries? All those things. So there is like a lot of stuff going on here emotionally with your reading, Cancer. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? So since you are a water sign, right, depending on where Cancer is in your chart, I would just lean into it. That's your territory, right, so to speak. So it's just I wanted to see how many we had for the minor arcana. But going back to that Prince of Cups in the reverse position here, this is that when I said it's almost like a gentle reminder or challenge. It's like if you want to, let's show it like this, right? So this one, the Seven of Cups, was your fourth card, tarot card for that one week from September 23rd through the 28th. And then this one comes in as not necessarily the past or the future. It's a combination of both. So it's kind of still up to you, right? It's always up to you. You always have free will no matter what during every reading, right? So it's like if you want this offer to come in, if you want to finally pick a cup or the other person does or everybody or environment, what have you, right? How are we going to do that, right? So it's a reminder, it's a challenge here. So it's saying, I believe, Cancer, that if you want to flip that reversal right side up, somebody again is really going to have to dig deep into their emotions and express it, right? Make it understood really clearly, whether it's to yourself or to multiple people or one person or just a vibration, frequency, energy, environment, what have you. But if you want to flip that reversal Prince of Cups to right side up, yeah, the emotions definitely need to be digged into. But also, if there is, okay, an offer that does come through, a medium-sized offer, because we're talking about Prince or Knight, if there's a medium-sized offer that does come through, when you're still in that Seven of Cups energy of not sure which one to take, for some of you guys, it could be that you don't want this offer, okay? Or the offer doesn't come in the way that you wanted with it in the reverse position, or it's just straight up not accepted, or it's put on hold, or it doesn't come through, right? But again, that's an energetic blockage when you have the Prince of Cups in reverse. So I think, again, if you're being clear in your emotions and you're demanding that of others as well, in a hopefully nice way, if possible, right? That then the offer can come through, right? Then the communication can come through, because it's not necessarily an offer for everybody. It could just be a medium-sized communication, from your spirit guides, from the universe, guardian angels, what have you. Or it could be that you want to give an offer of communication to someone, or someone wants to give it to you. But again, since so far it's in that reverse position, things need to be clarified here, or understood emotionally, more in depth. Okay, so that is what I have for you so far. Again, it'll be a little bit different for everybody, but hopefully you got something from it. And before you go, real quickly, here's your oracle card too, Cancer, didn't forget. So this is from the Rebecca Campbell Starseed deck. And the message that you got for this time period, or perhaps even beyond, it says, break the chain. And there's this woman outside of this giant cave, okay? And it looks like there's these figures in the background, almost looking like little ghosts of other women, okay? And it talks about ancestral patterns, healing, and rewriting the future. Okay, so this one's really small, but hopefully if I hold still, you can see these other women coming out that have kind of faded. And then here we see this woman not as faded, right? So again, talking about ancestral patterns, healing, and rewriting the future, okay? So that's beautiful. I feel like that can definitely apply to any time, right? So if there is some type of emotional chain, they were talking about breaking the chains, right? Or if there is some type of, because you had all these emotions and cups, some type of emotional justice that needs to change, or it can be so many different things, right? But I really feel if we had to put your oracle card with some of the tarot cards here, I would definitely put it with the Justice card, and even the Tower, even though the Tower was from the past and the Justice is more future current energies. Okay, that's kind of how I would put it if I had to. Okay. Alrighty. So Cancer, thank you guys so much. Again, if you want to see a photo of all these cards, again, more up close in detail, I will be posting it after the live. So all you have to do is click in the little description box below and follow the instructions to my Facebook page where I'll be posting it if you want it. All right. But yeah, so let's take a moment here to kind of shift gears and shuffle and get ready to turn over to Leo energy. All right. So let's do that. Yes. And my music got down to the commercials. So we'll just turn it back up. Oh, and those cards going to fly off. So let's also put the crystals on the cards a little bit. We'll clear it with the smoke from the incense as well to kind of let go of the Cancer energy and switch over to Leo. All right. Okay. And I'll check what time it is too. We're at 33. Okay, something like that. All right, so I will keep that in mind for when I do the timestamps later. But yeah, let's do a sound bell and again release the energy before we start shuffling for Leo. So give me 1 second here. Okay, guys, look, it's coffee and tarot cards. I need the coffees. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Yeah, let's do the sound bell and then we'll shuffle. All right. Okay, so just be aware for some people if you're sensitive, right? Or listening with headphones or something. It's going to be loud for just a minute, but it won't be that long. All right. So if you want to, you can take a deep breath in and out, or you can just listen, whatever feels good for you. All right. All right, Leo. Well, let's put this guy over here, and let's do some shuffling for you. All right. So again, I will be posting timestamps later for Leo for before the shuffling or after the shuffling if some people don't want to watch it or whatever. So yeah. All right. What does Leo the lion need to see? Messages for Leo for August 28th through September 28th. What do we need to see? What do we need to know? All right. Spirits guide my hands. Help me be an effective and objective channeler. Channel messages for Leo the lion. Sorry, I think I'm the cat meowing. You're okay. You're okay, Luna. I'll be with you in a little bit. Okay. Messages for Leo for August 28th through September 28th. You okay? All right, let's see here. Spirits guide my hands. Messages for Leo the lion. August 28th through September 28th. All right. Messages for Leo. Spirits guide my hands. Messages for Leo the lion. For August 28th through September 28th. 4 cards, please, spirits. Messages for Leo. Messages for Leo the lion. For August 28th through September 28th. Messages for Leo. Messages for Leo the lion. 1 more card, please. Messages for Leo. What do we need to see? What do we need to know? All right. So we got the 4 cards. We're going to figure out what placement Spirit wants them. We'll do the top and the bottom, and then we'll switch to the next deck. So this one kind of came out sideways, but we'll see if they want it right side up. So give me a moment. Spirits and love and light, respect and reverence and hands before doing it after. Spirits, do you want the deck card in the right side position? Check to the second side. Okay. Spirits number 2, cups and right side position. Spirits and hands. Spirits position represent the first 2 cards. And spirits do you want the right card in the right side position. Yeah. Okay. Spirits, do you want this card in the reverse position? Represent the first 2 cards. Okay. All right. So then we'll go ahead and take the top and the bottom. Incense started to get to me a little bit hot. All right. So let's put this up here for a second. I don't know why I was like doing that, but that's okay. Okay. Let's do this deck. Spirits guide my hands. Messages for Leo the lion. Fire sign Leo the lion. For August 28th to September 28th. What do they need to see? What do they need to know? For the highest vibration. Spirits guide my hands. Messages for Leo the lion. For September 28th through August 28th. through August 28th or September 28th for Leo. One card, please. All right. Stay. Okay. Spirits. Position. Perfect. That's funny. I said the wrong name of the card because I looked at it real quick with my eyes closed. And Spirit was like, no, I don't want that card. And then I looked at it again and I was like, oh, wait, I meant to say this card. And I was like, yeah, I want that one. So that's what they want. We take it, right? So then we go ahead and take the top and the bottom. Oh, that's not the bottom. That's the bottom. All right. So just move everything over. Figure out where they want to talk about in detail more stuff. Okay, so these are the tops and the bottoms. These are 4 on top or 5 on top, technically. Okay, so let's see here. I feel like it's probably going to go like that. And then maybe this over here. But let me double check real quickly. And then we'll get your oracle card and we'll get started. I'll leave this here so I don't forget. All right, so it's very soon. We'll talk about the 2 of Pentacles and the right side of the vision and the Ace of Wands and the reverse position. Okay. Okay. They said no for both those. So let's try it down here. All right, let's see. Let's do the 2 of Pentacles position and the Ace of Wands and the Okay, so they want it there. So real quickly, let's see if they want this one with this one. All right, so they want it there. It's a little bit off than I thought, but that's why I always double check, right? Okay, so Leo, let's get your little oracle card and get started. All right. Messages for Leo. Spirits guide my hands. 1 card, please. For Leo. For August 28th through September 28th. Messages for Leo. 1 card, please. For August 28th through September 28th. Leo need to see. Leo need to know. All right. So that's the one we want. So we would take it. And then we will take the picture and get started here. All right. So I do, obviously take the picture for each sign. And I did the Cancer one on screen before that started. So let's just take this one up, please. So we treat all the signs, with the same kind of respect as I say. Yeah, okay, good. I was like, is it in focus? All right, good enough. Okay. All right, Leo. So now we'll check the time period again. It is at 44. Okay, so let's do Leo. What we have for you here. So we are going to, again, welcome everyone. If they're just tuning in later when I put up the timestamps, if they didn't watch the Cancer part or what have you, or if they're just coming in, whatever, right? It's a general reading. Everybody is welcome, regardless of where you have Leo in your chart. And hopefully there's a message here for you. So it is a timeless reading as well, meaning whenever you find this message, it's meant for you. So it could resonate in the past or more in the future or even currently. Okay, but we are going to be talking about each one of these 4 cards first. They can correspond to about a week or so's time period. As a general rule, it can always be a little bit before, a little bit after. Okay, so the first card can be from around August 27th through September 3rd, right? So last week. And then where we're at now for the second card, second week of time. So from around September 4th through September 13th. The third week can be, and the third card can be from around September 14th through September 22nd. The fourth card and fourth week can be from around September 23rd through September 28th. Okay, and again, we're going to be using 2 different tarot decks, and we'll talk about what's on the top and the bottom of each one, and then your little oracle card at the very end. Okay, so yeah, let's see what we have here, Leo. Before we call out your cards, let's talk about the other zodiac signs that are showing up in your reading for some people who are into that. Okay, so you do have some Scorpio energy here, Leo. You've got Sagittarius, you've got Leo, you showed up in your own reading. That's always a good omen. We'll definitely talk about that. Even though it's in the past position, you did still show up. So yeah, we have 1, 2, 3. That's it, right? So you have 3 major arcanas. So it's not necessarily a good or a bad thing. We just like to kind of point it out. So that means that you could be dealing with a Scorpio, dealing with another Leo, or dealing with the Sagittarius, or it could be referencing the Leo season, the Sagittarius season, the Scorpio season, right? What have you. Or you have a lot of those predominantly in your birth chart, or the other person does, or it means nothing at all, but I wanted to mention it. Okay. Now, also, real quickly, let's talk about the minor arcanas, how many you have, like what's the predominant one for your minor arcanas. Okay, so we've got, let's see, 2 pentacles, okay, 1 cup, 2 swords, and 1 wand, right? Yes. Okay, so what did I say? I said 2 pentacles, 2 swords, 1 cup, 1 wand. Okay, so that means it's a tie between the swords and the pentacles, right? So that could be another underlying theme to your reading, right? So when we talk about swords, they can either be a tool or a weapon, but in the tarot, they represent air sign energy, right? So can be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, okay? But also it's talking about the swords in particular, or talking about our logical mind, our crown chakra, and those kind of things. So it can talk about mental health for some people, okay? Whether it's a good mental health or bad mental health. And then also, since it was split between pentacles, another theme when we talk about pentacles being coins and money and wealth, it's also whatever you want to manifest in your world, but in particular, values, right? So that's what we talk about when we talk about money. It's a system of accepted values in different places, right? Different kinds of money, but it's all about how do we value time? How do we value this product, this whatever, blah, blah, blah. So values could be another theme in here, along with the swords, along with the mental health. So am I being valued enough? Is the other person, is multiple people, general environment situation? Am I getting enough compensation for my time and effort? Is the other person vice versa, whatever it may be. So that's another kind of side note, but let's go ahead and see what else is going on here in your reading and call out your cards in order, the first 4. All right, so Leo, you have the King of Sacred Circles, also known as King of Pentacles in the right side up position. You have the Death card in the right side up position. You have the 2 of Cups in the right side up position. And you have the Temperance card in the reverse position, okay? So let's turn up the music here a little bit again, just my dog rolling around the floor looking at me. I'm like, don't you bark. Okay, all right, let's see here, hold on. All right, Leo, sorry. So yeah, so we're going to go back and talk about the first card, go back a little bit in time, right? So the first week, August 27th through September 3rd or so, we have the King of Sacred Circles, King of Pentacles. So this card in particular can be energy from the recent past, whatever that means for you, right? So it could be a couple of days ago, weeks, months, years, etc. And also the other thing, of course, to note here, I forgot to say earlier for people who are just tuning in, is this reading is not directly about you, Leo. It could be about someone you're dealing with or an environment, energy situation. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about the King of Sacred Circles, the King of Pentacles here, okay? This is a very abundant energy. Of course, we're talking about money or wealth, abundance, okay? It is a very supportive energy, right? And it is a very, not proud is not the right word, but he's set and firm in his position, right? He's a king, he's a person of authority, or he has a certain level of confidence and royalty and exudes that, okay? But here in particular in this tarot deck, it talks about this king, this Native American king, wanting to talk about how he's planning the oral traditions, right? He has the drum. So it's like, what is his legacy? What is he leaving behind? And we see behind him, actually, really small on the top of the corner here, that lightning, okay? So that is talking about spiritual downloads, enlightenments, revelations, right? So he's like, how can I use the things that I've learned so far if he is, in this position of authority and he got there at a certain age or just because of all the hard work he's put in? He's like, how do I make it possible for other people to benefit for that? Okay, so it can be about legacies for some people, not everybody. But this is a forward momentum. This is progress here, regardless of how it may show up in your life. Okay, this again, Leo, could be your energy. It could be someone around you, a teacher, a mentor, or guide that's inspiring you to tap into that energy. But it's really nice. I really like the King of Pentacles energy. And of course, we're talking about earth signs when we talk about pentacles, right? So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I'm laughing because I kept forgetting Virgo the other day, and I'm like, it's Virgo season. What's wrong with me? Anyway, but yeah, this is really nice to see here for you, Leo. So let's keep going though and see what else you got, because you got some good stuff here. As a side note, I really only see one energetic blockage or gentle reminder or challenge, and that's over here in the 4th week. Okay, so there's a little bit something here, but it's not all bad, right? We all have those from time to time. So anyway, let's go in order though. So we leave from the King of Sacred Circles or King of Pentacles right side up, and now we're in that 2nd week, the one we're in now, possibly for some, right? So from around September 4th through September 13th, we do have the Death card, Scorpio energy, okay? So the Death card is a really beautiful energy. A lot of people, if they're not familiar with tarot, they might say, oh no, what does that mean, right? It's the dying of one stage to bring a new stage in, okay? The clearing out of your closet, donating your clothes, so then you have more room in your closet for new clothes, okay? That's the energy. And during these changes, right, we have this owl at the top of the card that is kind of looking for the wisdom through these changes. Okay, I know the card is a little bit morbid because there's like a little girl playing with a skull, right? But it's about, again, whoever that is that passed away, if it was her ancestor, made it possible for her to be born, right? So it's just a metaphor, all right? But this is really nice energy. This, of course, is very transformative energy. And Leo, you and like only one other sign so far in this set of readings didn't really have an energetic blockage during this week, okay? Because we were saying, again, if people aren't aware, or even if they are, right? We started Mercury retrograde yesterday, and we also have 5 planets total in retrograde, meaning going backwards, right? So there was like, usually some of the other zodiac sign readings, their energetic blockage was in the 2nd week, but yours is more in the 4th week. So maybe that means for some of you guys, you're handling the retrogrades better. It's of course a general reading, so it's hard to kind of say that, but it is still transformative, right? There is still endings and new beginnings, but I feel that it is more in the progressive stage or the flow state. Okay, that's kind of like how I would say it. But let's not spend too much time here because hopefully that made sense for you guys. Okay, so let's go on to your third card, your third week, right? So we have from around possibly September 14th through the 22nd, the wonderful Two of Cups in the right side up position. All right, there you go, Leo. Okay, so this is a card about unions, highly divinely guided unions, higher vibrational unions, whether they're romantic like they're depicted in the card, or it's a work partnership, a union with friends or family, or even if you're doing self-love, a union of different parts of yourself, like a shadow self coming together with your light self, or like shadow self and light self, something like that. I it didn't come out exactly how I wanted it, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about here. Okay. Now, when we're talking about cups, again, we could be talking about other water signs, right? So you had Scorpio before, it could be another Scorpio, or it could be Cancer, it could be Pisces, right? But basically, the cups in the tarot talk about our emotions. So it's like something could be happening during this time period here for you, Leo, that is more emotionally satisfying on your side, the other person's side, or both people, both parties, both energies, environments. But what's also nice is these two people, these two parties, these two energies, they both bring out the best in each other, and they're both giving the same amount of effort. Okay, so who doesn't want that? That's nice, right? So remember how we said in the beginning when we were talking about underlying theme with the swords and the pentacles, like, am I being valued? Is the other person being valued? This would say that the pentacles here, or the not the pentacles because this is the cups card, but the the values here, during this time period, with this certain relationship, whatever it is for you, right? The different kinds, romantic, platonic, etc. That it is in the more positive value aspect of it. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So keep moving forward. Just down commercial. So now we're going into the fourth week, your fourth card. So it could be from around September 23rd through the 28th or so. We have the Temperance in the reverse position. And so this is, again, a little bit of an energetic blockage, but it doesn't last that long, and it's not completely horrible, right? It's just either a gentle reminder or a challenge, okay? So it could just be as simple here, Leo, as someone not having enough patience. And I say this with love because I am a sun sign Sagittarius. It can be harder for fire signs to slow down and have that patience. Okay, so if that is talking about you here, Leo, I can relate. I get it. It could be also something is out of balance here with the Temperance card in the reverse position. It could also, of course, be referencing a Sagittarius, since that's the official Sagittarius card or Sagittarius season for some. But we'll just go with, generally, this is talking about somebody or some energy environment is having a hard time being patient, is having a hard time balancing things. And there could be, I don't know what triggers it, right? Because you go from the Two of Cups to the Temperance in reverse. So I was about to say, like, oh, all the water in this card and the Temperance card is emotions, just like cups. So you go from like this really supportive, positive, emotional relationship, right? Or relationship of some kind, to then the Temperance being in reverse. So it could be for a small few that it is something that the emotions are now out of balance. Maybe somebody's expectations are off, or suddenly the feelings change or something, right? Not necessarily for everybody, but normally the Temperance card, when she's right side up, she's transmuting the energy, right? So she's got one bowl, one pitcher, and she's taking the water and the emotions, and she's putting them back and forth to sift through them, to understand them, right? And to balance them, okay? So she also has 1 foot on land, 1 foot in the water. That's the balance, right? So the water being the emotions, the 5D spiritual world as an example, and the land could be the 3D physical world where we're at right now with the table, right? That's why I was doing that. So because it's in reverse, it could just be that somebody maybe, again, has something to do with, I don't know if expectations is the right word, but something emotionally perhaps. But let's find out, okay? Because this is where spirit wanted me to talk to you about what's on the top and the bottom, along with the temperance card in reverse. So talking about top and bottom again. That's energy from the recent past, whatever that means for you. These cards make it possible for the temperance card to show up in the more future current energies possibilities. Okay. So what we have is on the top of your deck, we have the Princess of Swords in the right side up position, and on the bottom of your deck is the Strength card in the reverse position. And if you were here earlier, right, remember when I said you showed up in your own reading, that's always a good omen, even though it's in the past position and it's reversed. I still take it as a good omen because you're like, hey, there I am, right? But it could be here for you, Leo, that in the past in some way, even though there was possibly a spiritual enlightenment download revelation with the sun also being behind the Princess of Swords, right? The sun is also can be fire sign Leo energy. She has her mental clarity. She's working on it, right? Her sword is not up or down. It's still in the sheath or the cover, the sword cover. I think it's called sheath, whatever. Anyway, so she's like meditating on when to take it out, right? When to use it again as either a tool or a weapon. So while that was going on in the past, this is a good card, right? Good energy for momentum, all that stuff. But then you ended up being reversed in the past. The Strength card is reversed here, Leo. So it could be that in the past, you were not feeling like yourself for some. You were not feeling in your element. It could just be straight up that you were not, what's the way to say it? Feeling strong, feeling passionate, feeling creative. You were having a hard time manifesting something, right? Because when we talk about the Strength card, even when it's reversed, if you look at the top, the affinity symbol is over the woman's head. Same symbols in the Magician card. So normally you are a manifester, right? Your energy, your card is manifester, but it's reversed. So yeah, it just is like an energetic blockage here from maybe, I have a, well, for some, I kind of have an idea of what it might be. If this relationship, this partnership, this union, whatever it is, even if it's multiple unions, is going really well, maybe some of you don't trust it, or you get triggered in some way emotionally to going back to how things were in the past. And giving away your power. Maybe you used to do that in your past in relationships, emotionally. I don't know. It would be different for everybody. Or again, just not being in your element, not feeling confident, not feeling passionate or creative, even though you have all these insights and spiritual downloads and revelations going on in the past, and there was more mental clarity. Maybe you were second guessing yourself or second guessing something here. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time because, like I said, it'll be different for everybody. So let's keep going though, because you still have some good stuff coming up here. Okay, so I wouldn't worry too much. And your first three were beautiful too. So not to worry, really. Okay. So now we're going to talk about your fifth card. This fifth card is a confirmation card, and it's coming in here and confirming all four cards we just talked about, all 4.5 to 5 week time period. Okay. Now, the fifth card is a combination of past and future energies, right? It still hasn't happened yet. A couple of these haven't happened yet, right? So it's like, how do you want to proceed is kind of like what the confirmation card is. Yes, it's confirming what we just talked about too, of course, because it's a confirmation card, but it's also like, how do you want Okay. So the card that you got is the Five of Swords in the right side up position as your confirmation card here. So yeah, so Leo, this is kind of like really interesting because it's like trying to get you out of the Temperance card in the reverse position, right? Because remember, it goes after that, right? So it could be that this five position, right? Because remember, it goes after that, right? So it could be that this Five of Swords shows up and the energy is like, do you want to still be stuck in the past? Remember how we were talking about all that stuff in the past with you and your strength card in the past? Okay. Or do you want to be stuck in the future, always thinking, always anticipating, worrying about the future? Or do you want to be in that present moment? Okay. So that's what the Five of Swords energy is about, is a reminder or not for someone to collect themselves and get in the present moment. And also it can have a little bit of competitive energy with yourself and others. It could also be overly defensive, mentally overly defensive in some ways, since it is swords energy. Okay. But yeah, it's like if you can not be so much in the past, not be so much in the future, but again, more in that present moment. And that might also, of course, go with if it's hard to be patient, the more you are in the present moment, maybe you could flip that Temperance card and it'd be a little bit easier, right? To let go of the anxiety, worry, overthinking from the past and the future and just kind of enjoy the present moment. So that's kind of how it's coming out here. But this is where, real quickly before we move on to your Oracle card, this is where Spirit wanted to talk about what's on the top and the bottom, along with the confirmation card to give. Ugh, I can't even stop talking. to give, I came out weird. To give us even more insight here. Okay, Leo. So we have past energy on the bottom, and again, this, well, it is a combination of past and future. So again, it's like, how do you want to proceed? That kind of thing. Okay. So anyway, what we have is the Two of Pentacles on the right side up position, was on the top of your deck. And then you have the Ace of Wands in the reverse position on the bottom of your deck. So these past energies, and we're talking along with this Five of Swords in the right side up position. Okay. So it looks like here in the past, in some way, Leo, somebody was really juggling priorities and really focused on building their abundance, their money, their wealth, whatever it is they want in their world. And they were trying to figure out how to get more. Okay. Because it's Two of Pentacles, it's not 6, it's not 10, right? In the highest. It's still pretty a low number. Okay. But she's juggling these and she's like, oh my God, is it always going to be like this? Okay. The past energy. Is it always going to be like, you know, as an example, living paycheck to paycheck? Or is it always going to be, if we're talking about money, right? Or is it always going to be these type of relationships? Or is it always going to be whatever it is, right? So that's, again, past energy. You see the storm behind her too. She's like, is the storm over? Like, goddamn. Excuse me, right? Okay. But then we have alongside of it, right, on the other side, that Ace of Wands in the reverse position. So it could be that in the past, there wanted to be this fresh start energy, this new beginning, if the Ace of Wands had showed up right side up. And again, Wands are fire sign energy, just like you, right? So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. Sorry. Oh my gosh, sorry. Okay. My allergies and the incense today, sorry. Okay. I lost my train of thought. So yes, with this fresh start energy that wanted to come through from the past, okay, the leap of faith, we're talking about wands, we're talking about health for some, okay, our immune system, our first line of defense, all that stuff. But aces are endings, new beginnings, fresh start energy, creativity, and even, of course, the wands are seen as a phallic symbol. So even being like super fertile in the past, it wanted to come through. Fertile for women, yes, if they want to have a baby, but fertile as a metaphor for most and everyone, right? Again, birthing something new. But it was kind of, it didn't happen for some reason here in the past, okay? So that could be for a lot of different reasons, of course. It is a general reading. But when it comes in here and if they want to again talk about it with that Five of Swords, it's like, do you want to? Shit, sorry, hold on. Do they like in the past where it didn't happen before? They like being like, oh my God, is it ever going to change? Worrying about the future, or do you want to be in the present moment? Right? Of course, we all have worries, but it's just getting it out with releasing those worries in healthy ways if we can, right? Our support system, our friends, family, mental health care worker, romantic partner, etc., where it doesn't completely like consume you, okay? But yeah, that's kind of what I have for you as far as the tarot, Leo. But real quickly before you go, we also have a little oracle card. And this is an additional message for this time period, even beyond. This is Rebecca Campbell, Starseed deck, I believe. All right, so the message, the card that you got this time here, Leo, it looks like a woman sitting down, kind of meditating or thinking deeply, and she's looking out into nature, and it says, answer the call. It says, what is your soul calling you to do? Okay, so I'll stand up because it's really tiny. Hopefully you can see it there, focus. All right. So that's beautiful, right? What is your soul calling you to do, right? So I always say, use your own intuition. And it's good to listen to other people and get different opinions, but at the end of the day, beginning of the day, how do you feel about stuff? Okay, so that's kind of how I take it. If you had to put it together with some cards here, yeah, I would put it with the Death card. I would also put it together with the Temperance in reverse, right? So when we talk about the Death card, endings, new beginnings. Okay, what is your soul calling you to do about an ending, a new beginning? Where can you find the wisdom around the ending, a new beginning? And then what is your soul calling you to do about wanting to work on patience, wanting to work on balance, something like that, okay? So that's what I have for you, Leo. All right, so thank you guys as always for your energy, for your likes, for your subscriptions, all free ways to help support the channel. And also, too, if you want to see the photo that I took, I will be posting it in a few moments. So if you want to, look at it in more detail or all together, it'll be there. Or to just click in the description box below and follow the instructions there to how to see the photo. But yeah, other than that, I think I will end here. And yes, please feel free to let me know how things go if you want in the comments down below or whatever. All right, so guys take care and I will see you later. All right, bye.